Let's see. Icarus, Shattered Charge, kind of copium. He's not a charge unit. It doesn't matter, right? He's there for skill spam. Frost Resonance, same shit. Elementalist, increased final damage by 1.5 for every one weapon, one type. The type means like element, right? For every element. So if it's just Frost, it's still extra 1.5. It goes up to 4.5, right? If you run Rainbow, but don't run Rainbow. It's kind of bad. We look at his skills. If you look at attack, don't do any of this. It's a fucking copium. Dodge, attack, skip, right? Don't do any of this either. The only thing that matters is skill and discharge. Skill. Deal damage, create 2 yo-yos. It has a cooldown of 60 seconds. The speed reduction doesn't really fucking matter. Basically, the skill is you cast the skill, it does damage in an area. It lasts for 70 fucking seconds, right? It has a cooldown of 60 seconds. And then everything else don't matter. The damage reduction, HP recovery, the 5% is very copium. It doesn't matter at all. The only thing you want to know about this is you cast skill and you want to jump cancel all the other skill casts. You want to jump cancel every single other one before it actually disappears. So like every rotation, if you're doing Saki rotation, this thing has a very long cast time. And then if you reset and you have to use the skill, you want to jump cancel it because it's up. It's up regardless, right? And then you want to reset it every minute. You want to actually cast it every minute. Because you gotta get rid of your main skill to do the sub skill, which is called Return to Loneliness. So how do you get the sub skill? You gotta use Capped Knowledge, which is the discharge, right? Discharge just deals damage. Nothing good about this thing. Jump cancel this thing as well. You'll still get 2 uses of the sub skill, and to use the sub skill, your main skill has to be on cooldown, right? On CN, you basically just discharge, jump cancel it to spam 2 of these. And then rinse and repeat. This will do 440 damage. This is 660. Slightly less, but you get 2 casts. And then this will heal you up to 10% because you get 2 casts. And then blah, blah, blah. Fortitude Resonance thing, I don't think anyone uses this. You get a taunt, you get to block, and you deal damage, right? There is a tank comp on CN where you use Icarus, Saki, and Lan. It does kind of work. And you can try it here as well. This might be good. You can infinitely taunt. And then, this Benediction Resonance, I don't know if this will be relevant or not. I don't think anyone on CN uses this thing on Benediction. But you can try this with Coco and maybe Fiona. This will do an 8% shred. Fiona will do like a 12% max HP execute at the end. I don't know. It's very copium, but as a free-to-play support, that's what. If Fiona is the same execute, that's like 20% damage contribution. And this might be worth it. I don't know. Everything else doesn't matter. That's his kit. If you're cross main, you pull for Icarus. Look at the stars. When any weapon skill is used, trigger harmony, deal damage equal to 25% lost HP, no less than 120, no more than 800. And then the damage is whatever your current element damage is. This is just some additional damage when you use a skill. When the Icarus zone is up. This is not necessary. 1 star is not necessary. There's another effect, which is now discharge instead of skill. Discharge will do a 4% max HP. Also, the damage is whatever type the weapon that triggered will be. But this is not necessary. Okay, good to have. If you're Frost mains, try to get this, but if you can't, it's fine. 2-star attack, 3-star. When using the skill, it'll speed up the yo-yos by 9 seconds. And now you do AoE damage. This is just additional damage. The damage done by the zone is very insignificant, at least on CN. You don't give a fuck about this either. Like, it looks pretty broken. Huge damage increase, but the yo-yos on the zone are pretty fucking useless. No damage at all. And it's buffed from CN, apparently. Damage increased by 160. CN is increased by 60%. I don't know. I still don't think it's relevant. 5-star increased damage of speedy yo-yo and return to loneliness by another 50%. Which is fine. This is good if you can get it. But like, it's basically the 440 increased by 50%, which is up to the amount of the skill, 660. It's not that big of a deal either. This is CN numbers as well. And then final damage by 6 when he's active, which as a Frost main, he's not always active. But yeah, pretty much a 6% boost, which is copium as well for 6-star. He doesn't need stars. No way he needs stars. The whole point of his kit is for him to spam his little sub skills. You rotate around all your skills and then you spam his sub skill. every time you press his sub skill, because his sub skills are triggered by doing discharge, right? Every time you discharge, you get 2 of these. So your goal to play Icarus is to spam and reset. Every time you'll discharge with Icarus, jump cancel that and spam his 2 sub skills. Why you do this is so you want to trigger Alice, right? You want to trigger Alice A1. Alice A1 will be doing your off-field damage. Your main source of damage is Alice A1. Alice A1, every time you cast a skill, Alice will do the discharge, and then Alice will copy the same exact skill another time, regardless of you jump canceling or not. And that's how you spam damage, right? So to play Icarus correctly, you need Alice A1. You need Alice A1, right? If you're running Alice, you need Alice A1. It has nothing to do with Icarus. Saki, Icarus, Frigg. Frigg doesn't really work too well, right? Saki requires 5 skill casts to like perfectly rotate. If you pull Icarus, you need Alice. Nothing else works. The whole point is to spam shit on Alice. The good thing about Icarus compared to Saki is Saki requires you to have 5 skills, right? Icarus really only requires you to have quick enough charge, which Alice is a very good charge weapon. You just charge fast enough so you can discharge with Icarus every rotation, and you're good to go, right? Because Saki is like about 400 something %. Icarus is like also 400 something, but you can cast it twice, and then Alice will copy it, and you can come back to Icarus again and do it again. Rotate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No, the best thing about Icarus matrices, they're useful forever. As long as you have a frost weapon on your team, these matrices are forever useful. That's the best thing about his matrices. The only way they get power creeped is if they release like even bigger numbers, which is very unlikely for global. Like they will release bigger numbers, but it'll be like 1 to 2%. You can use the matrices forever. Same thing with land matrices, pretty much. Land matrices are a bit more, right? You have to have a flame, and then it gives you a flame attack and flame damage. This isn't generic. 4-piece Icarus is generic. As long as you have a frost weapon on your team, it's just generic damage boost. So I'll do a comparison without relics. Let's just do no relic rotation. So optimal CN rotation. I have the showcase video if you want to watch the real rotation and bygone situation. You want to start Alice, so you benefit off of the Alice zone. So let's do a slow one. Let's do a slow one, right? Alice first. You want to jump cancel this one. I didn't do it. And then after this, you want a Saki skill, and then you to get the surge, and then you want to hold attack to trigger Fantasia, right? And then with this, you do the discharge, and you want to jump cancel this, and then you press his skill, and then you do 1 sub skill, and then you want to go Alice to build charge again. The cooldown shouldn't be up yet because I'm doing it slow, right? You build charge until you get discharge. You want to discharge again with Icarus, jump cancel, right? And then now you have 2 stacks of the skill left. But this is when you have Saki at 4. So you do 1 sub skill and you get the reset. So you get his main skill, and then you do main skill, and then you get the second sub skill, right? And this is your full rotation. From here on out, you can do Saki, Alice, back discharge into Icarus, right? That's the full rotation. But then this is the way you set up. You time the Saki reset in between your 2 sub skills, so you have the main skill to cover the gap. So we'll do the full thing without commentary now, right? You want to start Alice. It's only the beginning that's kind of weird, right? After you set it up, so Saki resets in between the 2 sub skills, it's very simple. Brain dead rotation. So start this. Surge. Jump. 1. And then attack. Do this. Second one. Skill. Right, now you set it up correctly. Right, there we go. And then now if you don't have the full thing, you do this. Right? You want to trigger surge again, and then you want to jump cancel all the Alice discharge. You don't want that to trigger. There we go. I kind of scuffed a bit. Right, 1.5. Minute 30, 1.5 billion. That's the in baseline. That's like pretty try-hard rotation. If I didn't fuck up the Saki one time, that should be like my account's maximum limit. That was a decent rotation. Right? If you've been following, it's actually very easy. After you get the let me get the setup correct one more time. So after you do your second Icarus subskill, it doesn't really matter if you want to go Alice first and then Saki, because you want Saki to trigger the surge every 2 rotations, right? You want to apply it every 2 rotations or whenever it's off cooldown. So after you apply it, Saki will trigger Fantasia, which then you will do your Icarus discharge. If you Saki first and you trigger Fantasia, then you have to discharge with Alice, which is not optimal. No, you cancel Saki skill if you can. You swap cancel Saki skill. So the moment your Icarus discharge lights up, you press it. Because there's a cooldown, because I'm swapping too fast, I let the Saki skill go through. But like if Saki skill goes halfway and your Icarus discharge is up, you just press it. No, you don't need A5 Saki. You don't need that Fantasia. You just if you don't have A5 Saki and that Fantasia, you do this instead. Right? You still do this, right? I'm not gonna discharge here, right? And then once you're done with the surge, you want to go back to Alice and then build charge. You want to build charge. It's just a slower start. And then now you build charge. Now you can do the discharge, jump cancel it. Same thing. One, don't use the second one, right? Go back to Alice. Build charge again. And then Icarus discharge. And then now you're set up. And then you just keep doing this. You don't need the Fantasia. The Fantasia is just convenient to start with. Yeah, that's your basic rotation for Triple Frost. Alright, this is the Lin rotation. Lin rotation, again, as Maygi said, only A6 matters. Right? If you don't have A6 Lin, don't try this. This is not worth it. This comp is more Unga Bunga. As long as you remember to discharge on Icarus, you're fine. Yeah. Basically, you just rotate through. You just rotate through these. Icarus, Lin, press a zone, Alice skill if there is skill, charge up for discharge, do discharge, jump cancel. Right? Same situation on CN. This did like 1.7 mil in a minute 30. It's slightly better than Triple Frost. Right? We basically have the exact same balancing as global. It's just scaled up. Right? Lin comp is theoretically better, but like this comp doesn't really work in a realistic scenario. But like don't do the Lin comp, just do it like this. Unless you don't have if you don't have Saki, then obviously go the other one, but like Triple Frost should still be better. So those basically Icarus Alice, that's the main synergy here. Every top DPS comp has Icarus Alice. And then if you don't have Icarus, right, this is what I've been saying. If you're Frost main and you don't pull for Icarus, then I don't know what you're doing. You have to pull for Icarus. So if the bottom two are your Frost comps right now, if this is your current Frost comps, right, these bottom two, right, pulling on Icarus on this comp will net you this comp, right? Like if you don't have Lin, if you have this comp down here, pulling Icarus will net you this comp. That's a almost x2 damage increase. And then if you had this comp, right? This current meta Frost, and then you pull for Icarus, you will end up with either this or this, right? Which is still almost 2 times damage increase, right? So if you're a Frost main not pulling on Icarus, then you either give up chasing the meta, or you're like, yeah, just shut the fuck up and stop doom posting and be like, oh shit, Frost is so weak. And then people realize you never pulled for Icarus. Because as you can see, this is how they balance things. Icarus Alice, right? Top of the damage charts. The next Frost character will definitely have synergy, the best synergy with Icarus. So if you skipped Icarus, you'll end up in this scenario, right? Imagine this is the comp where you skipped Alice and you pulled Icarus. This is the scenario where you skipped Alice and pulled for Icarus. You're still useless. So if you skipped Icarus and you pulled for the next Frost character, you'll be in this scenario, which is still useless. So like if you're a Frost main and you chose to skip Icarus, then you're basically shafting yourself and you're no longer a real Frost main, and you shouldn't be shitting on Frost comps all over the place. And then by the time you recover from skipping a Frost character, like this is for meta only, right? By the time you recover from skipping Icarus, that's like Yola and Banner, and then the next Frost. By the time you get the 2 later Frost comps, 2 new Frost characters, that would be like half a year later, is when you will recover from your mistake of skipping Icarus. You either give up Frost comp, you're basically giving up Frost comp if you skip Icarus right now, in terms of meta. But like if you don't give a shit about meta, then it don't matter. If you're low, this is max investment, right? If you don't give a shit about meta, then do whatever the fuck you want. But like, don't complain about meta and power creep if you chose to skip Icarus. That's on you.